Alright folks, here we are at the official press introduction for Suzuki's 2024 GSX-8R. This is an all-new middleweight sport bike from Suzuki Motor out of Hamamatsu, Japan. Now, the GSX-8R, it fits adjacent to Suzuki's GSX-R line of high-performance sport bikes and superbikes, which includes the GSX-R 600, the GSX-R 750, the GSX-R 1000, and the GSX-R 1000R. So those are Suzuki's four track-capable and competition-orientated sport bikes for mass consumption. The GSX-8R comes into the picture where this bike isn't designed for competition. It's not designed for racing. Yes, of course, you can race it, and you can do track days on it like we are now, but this motorcycle is designed to be the every man and woman's street bike, sport bike for street use and track days, etc. So, this motorcycle is powered by Suzuki's all-new 776cc parallel twin engine. This engine is liquid-cooled. It has dual overhead camshafts and an 8-valve cylinder head. It puts out right around 75 horsepower to the business end of the 180/55/17 Dunlop Road Sport 2 rubber. Now, the secret sauce for Suzuki's 776 parallel twin is really in its innovative twin counterbalancer. So each cylinder has its own counterbalancer. That allows this engine to be ridiculously smooth in terms of vibration or lack thereof. Another cool feature of this parallel twin engine is its uneven firing order. So it has an uneven firing order and uneven ignition timing, which really makes this engine feel like a V-twin. Now, Suzuki, they had a cult classic on their hands with the SV650 V-twin motorcycle, and we haven't seen that motorcycle updated since the 2017 year. Suzuki says it's still going to keep it in its model lineup, but realistically, this 776cc parallel twin, it was engineered almost to replace that V-twin. And it's really impressive to feel this engine. It feels just like Suzuki's SV650. It literally feels like a V-twin, but smoother with less vibration. There's a lot of really nice parallel twin engine configurations in the market, and just when we thought that we've seen it all and felt them all and they all feel the same, they don't. Suzuki's parallel twin is really special. This thing literally feels like a V-twin engine, which is awesome. But of course, it's a parallel twin, so it's much more compact in terms of its depth from front to back and in width, because it's only in line 2. That gave Suzuki engineers a lot more freedom in terms of engine placement in the chassis. This motorcycle features a steel frame, so it has a twin spar looking steel frame with a nice long swing arm hanging off the back. There is a linkage, so the rear suspension features a linkage, so the top of the shock connects to the frame, and the bottom of the shock absorber works through a linkage and connects through the swing arm. Up front we have an inverted Showa fork and a Showa gas charged rear shock. Suspension travels right over 5 inches. And this motorcycle doesn't have any damping adjustment. So the fork damping and the shock damping is fixed. The only form of adjustment is spring preload on the shock absorber. You want to add or reduce spring preload basically based on rider preference or your weight. So if you want the motorcycle to be a bit more weight on the front of it, more preload's always good. If you want the bike to squat a little bit more, less preload is good. We measure 6 foot tall, 205 pounds, so we're a little bit heavier than the intended user of this motorcycle. I think the intended user is a 150-pound human. so we're a little bit heavier, but the suspension calibration doesn't necessarily feel off by any means. I'm actually really impressed with how good the suspension on this motorcycle works. It just floats around the racetrack with really good road holding. The fork and shock aren't bouncy. Bike doesn't overly squat or do anything crazy. It's just a really easy motorcycle to ride. There's my buddy Jeremy Toy passing me on the outside. He is a former superbike racer and a very, very good motorcycle test rider and engineer. That guy in front of me, he is able to feel the most minute differences in the dynamic of a vehicle, street bike or dirt bike, than pretty much any other human being I've ever met on the planet. So Jeremy Toy's the man, and it's all good he passed me because he's a fast dude. He's here helping out the Suzuki Motor USA people at their official press introduction event. Right now we're riding this GSX-8R on Dunlop's Sport Max Q5S. This is a more track capable DOT labeled street bike tire, and it allows us to just have a lot of fun at the track on this bike. Of course we can ride it with its OE-shoed Road Sport 2s, but things are always more fun with stickier rubber. The engine on this motorcycle, it also features a chain final drive and a 6-speed gearbox with a slipper action clutch. An electronic quick shifter allows for full throttle upshifts and downshifts without having to use the clutch. I really love electronic quick shifters, especially on the downshift mode, because you can just go into corners faster than you could without it, and that rear tire just stays hooked up because you don't have to use the clutch. In that little bit of time when you use the clutch, it reduces the weight on the rear wheel, and you have a better connection with the motorcycle with an electronic quick shifter during downshifts. I love it. Look at this nice 5-inch color TFT dash. We are riding with the vehicle in dark mode, so black background, white fonts. I love that. That's how I have my MacBook Pros set up, and my company issued iPhones set up that way as well. Of course, if you want to have the standard black numbers, black fonts on a white background, you can easily do that in the switch gear. You just hold up on this top button right here on the left handlebar. Now this motorcycle weighs 452 pounds with a full load of 3.7 gallons of fuel. And this motorcycle is just very, very easy to ride. It does not feel heavy. It's not the quickest turning bike out there, but it just feels so neutral. I can't overemphasize what an easy sport bike this thing is to pilot at the street. Feel that torque from the 776cc parallel twin engine. Oh yeah, here we go. Into turn 1. Yeah! Brakes on this motorcycle, triple disc hydraulic brakes, keep the 452 pounds of mass in check. We have a standard non-radial mount master cylinder biting down on radial 4-piston brake calipers. Out back we have a single piston brake caliper pinching a cross drill disc. Fixed always on ABS is standard on this motorcycle. You cannot turn it off. You always have ABS on. If you really get after it and brake reasonably hard into a turn, you can feel the ABS come in, but I wouldn't say it's a bad thing at all. Here's a guy who's trying to pass us. We'll just keep him in our rearview mirror as long as possible, because that's the way we ride. Yeah. Oh yeah, he's right on us. I think that's my external colleague Chris Ulrich from Road Racing World. Let's block him. Let's block him. Let's block him. There he is. There he is. Oh, he gave me the middle finger. That son of a you-know-what. Oh, it's all good. We're just having some fun on our GSX-8Rs. And that's the whole point of this bike, is fun. Where the GSX-R line of sport bikes and super bikes, they're awesome. They have tons of power, tons of character, very precise handling. You have to kind of be on your game to ride those bikes. They're a lot more sharper in terms of the performance envelope. This thing is more just easier to ride. The suspension is not as precise. Everything is not as sharp and as knife edge. And if you're just someone who wants just to have a really good time and have an easy bike to ride, this bike fits the bill. These parallel twin engines are so cool just because they make so much torque. This motorcycle delivers an exceptional amount of smooth torque, which only makes it easy to ride. God, I love how easy this thing is. Just put it wherever you want. Now I stand at 6 foot tall, and this motorcycle fits me very well. We went on a nice street bike ride yesterday. We spent about 7 hours in the saddle, 6 to 7 hours in the saddle. And Suzuki bikes, that's the one thing Suzuki street bikes always have: an excellent rider seat. Doesn't matter if you're riding a V-Strom or a GSX-R, the seat on these Suzuki motorcycles is also crazy comfortable, and it shouldn't be a surprise that the seat and the ergonomics on this bike are very favorable. It's a very easy motorcycle to fit on. The ergonomics aren't crazy. They aren't crazy aggressive, nor are they too relaxed. This motorcycle actually feels very similar to Aprilia's RS660. The ergonomics feel virtually identical to that bike. And that bike is a pretty cozy bike to ride as well. Sure, I wish the windscreen was a little bit taller, but it still gets the job done. Another cool feature on this motorcycle is its rear view mirrors. I know that seems kind of a weird thing to say. It's like the rear view mirrors, but just the way they're shaped, you have really good view of what's going on behind you. And I really like that. You can see the shape of them is just oversized towards the edges, and it just really allows you to see what's going on behind you very easily. This bike retails for $9,349. It also comes with a 1-year warranty. Suzuki motorcycles, this particular Suzuki motorcycle is built out of Suzuki's Hamamatsu, Japan factory. So you're getting a high quality motorcycle that's going to stand the test of time. Suzuki's also offering very favorable financing on this vehicle for its customers here in the United States. That's how aggressive they are with pushing this motorcycle. Well, folks, that is our quick review of Suzuki's 2024 GSX-8R. This is a really fun street bike to ride. Engine is lots of power. It's crazy smooth. It slicks exceptionally well through the 6-speed gearbox, and the chassis is very composed for a mid-sized, street-orientated sport bike. Yeah. Of course, this motorcycle also comes with 3-way traction control. 1 is the least aggressive, 3 is the most. You can adjust that with the switch gear here. And then we have adjustable power modes too. There's the traction control light to switch things. And then we can adjust the power modes using Suzuki's SDMS. Suzuki was an early innovator with the SDMS technology. I think it had on its 2007 GSX-R 1000. And what that does is it allows you to adjust the engine power based on the road surface you're riding or your skill level. So let's say you're new to riding and you want the motorcycle to be especially friendly, you can put it in C. That's the lowest power mode. And then as you work up, you can go to B, which is slightly more power, and then A, which is full power. I really like that feature. You can literally let your girlfriend ride this bike, or another one of your friends, and if they didn't have a lot of experience on this motorcycle, they could put it in C or B power mode, and they just get up to speed a lot more quickly than they would with a motorcycle that didn't have adjustable power. Very nice touch, Suzuki. Well, folks, that wraps up our official review As always, make sure to surf on over to motorcyclistonline.com. That's where all of our written content comes to life. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs it down if you didn't, because we'd love to hear from the naysayers. Everyone's opinion counts here at Motorcyclist Magazine. And we'll see you in the next episode. Thanks for riding with us.